I have that. See? Sorry about that, everybody. All right, welcome everyone to the Taylor School District regularly scheduled board meeting of February 7th, 2024, where our mission statement is to educate, engage, and empower those we serve. And our vision statement is that we will be the innovative destination district where all succeed. Roll call. Oh, the meeting's called to order at 6:10 PM. Roll call. Mrs. Shufelt?
Here.
Mr. Wright?
Here.
Ms. Black is here. Mr. Heath?
Here.
Mr. Myers is absent. Mr. Thomas?
Here.
Mrs. Thomas?
Here.
There are 6 of us in.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And then if we could just please stay standing, we're going to do a moment of silence for our athletic director, Lauren, who passed away just recently. So.
Everybody. Okay. Okay. Our first order of business, we have a student representative from Taylor Virtual Learning Academy. And Miss Marlene Scott is the principal.
Okay, I just want to take a second to introduce one of our students that's going to speak to you today. Her name is Allie, and she is a graduating senior. So she's going to tell you a little bit about her story and her path to success.
Sorry, I'm a little bit nervous. Hello, my name is Allie Pruitt. I started TVLA my sophomore year. At least it was supposed to be. I put an application in for TVLA in the summer of 2022. Traditional school has never seemed to work for me. I've always learned a little differently. You know when you're in class and they give you an assignment? Well, for me, I always wanted them to give me all of the work for the class so I could just get it done, because after a while, I'd be unmotivated and honestly uninterested. But when I was talking about changing schools to find something that worked for me so I could catch up, my brother told me to try TVLA. He said he loved it and he thought it would be perfect for me. I started TVLA with 5.5 credits. Now I have 3 classes to finish and then I graduate. And I did that in 2 years. If it wasn't for TVLA and the people at TVLA, I honestly think I would have dropped out. TVLA is very flexible, so you can do work whenever you want to and at your own pace. And the people at TVLA are amazing. All you have to do is be willing to do your work and actually do it. I graduate in 4 months, and I'm very happy that I do. But I'm also sad because the people at TVLA are amazing, and I'm gonna miss them. My mentor, Miss Underwood, is who I'm gonna miss the most. I don't think I would be here about to graduate if it wasn't for her. She motivated me on days that had no motivation. She makes learning an adventure. She inspires me to be someone that I never thought I could be. After high school, I'm going to college to become a lawyer, but more specifically, a criminal law lawyer. It is my passion, and thanks to TVLA and Miss Underwood, I have the opportunity to do what I've always dreamed of doing. If I could give anyone advice when it comes to deciding if you want to join TVLA, I would say do it, and you won't regret it. If anything, you'll regret not joining TVLA sooner. Thank you.
Thank you for that. TVLA is there for our students to make a success story going forward. So where you want to go to college? Okay, and then where are you going to transfer to? Oh, this is a nice place.
And congratulations too. That's an awesome accomplishment. And then real quick, we do have a card for you too. It's from the board to you for being here, sharing your story. We wanted to kind of just give you a gift to say thank you for representing the TBLA program.
Congratulations.
Just doing the trade. Wanna do it?
So next up on our agenda is item number 4, our good news. And we have Champions Program, which Ms. Schufelt, I think you're going to speak on that.
So I have to read through my chicken scratch. Sorry. So Vanessa and the Champions Program just wanted to recognize and thank Jack and Nashawn for their hard work and with the transition of closing one of their sites. And it was like real short notice and they arranged busing and like they made the transition super smooth. They were calm and Vanessa and the program was just very thankful for that. And so she wanted to make sure that they got the proper recognition and a great big thank you. And so she couldn't be here, so I got that job today. So thank you to Jack and Nashawn and great job.
I guess I'll just also give a shout out. Thank you to Blair Moody for taking on that program.
Yes.
I know that Blair Moody, there's 2 programs at Blair Moody and Taylor Parks. I believe the Taylor Parks program is the one that closed. And Moody was gracious enough to open their program up to all those students. So
Yes,
that's
I
awesome.
didn't forget that note.
Moving on to item number 5, the revisions/approval of the agenda, policy 0166. Is there any revisions to the agenda? With none, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Heath. Is there support? Support by Mr. Thomas. Mr. Wright is a yes. Ms. Block.
I don't know, do I say yes?
Say yes.
Okay.
Mr. Heath.
Yes.
Mr. Myers is absent. Mr. Thomas. Yes. Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
Ms. Schufelt.
Yes.
That carries 6-0.
Okay, we're moving on to item 6, discussion items. Our first discussion item is overnight field trip request, Howell Nature Center, and that is Kathy Wensworski.
Yes,
Go ahead.
thank you. Hello, my name is Kathy Wensworski. I teach 5th grade at Holland Elementary. We are excited to be able to take our students to camp at Howell Nature Center. Learning at camp provides our students with authentic science and social studies experiences, as well as team building activities and opportunities for personal goal setting and growth. We are scheduled to attend camp from April 10th to the 12th. Camp provides students with memories to last a lifetime. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Are there any questions?
Other than thank you for taking the kids to camp. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right, number 2, an overnight field request to Camp Mishadona.
Mishinda.
And speaking on that is Chrissy Gibson. Is she also online?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Hello, my name is Chrissy Gibson and I teach 5th grade at Moody. I'm so excited to share with you why we at Moody believe that 5th grade camp is such an amazing and valuable experience for our students. Many of our students lack the opportunities to expand their learning outside of the classroom in our community. We would like to provide them with a week-long experience that will take them out of the traditional educational setting and allow them to experience Camp Mishindo in Hillsdale, Michigan. Camp Mishindo provides outdoor educational activities with hands-on lessons that align with our curriculum in social studies, science, math, language arts, and social emotional learning. The students will attend various classes offered at the camp that teach about the life cycle of various animals, team building, colonial life, sports and wellness, species of animals, challenges, and problem solving in outdoor living and history. They will also have the opportunity to participate in various team building activities each evening, which is a very important part of social emotional learning. Students are given daily afternoon choices that might include archery, canoeing, rock climbing walls, open gym, drama, and crafts. Camp staff, teachers, and chaperones are with students during all activities, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and night events. Our field trip will take place from Monday, May 6th through Friday, May 10th. Transportation will be provided through our Taylor school buses, and we are very fortunate to have 8 chaperones accompanying us to help ensure the safety of our students at all times. The chaperones will be a combination of juniors and seniors from Taylor High, parents, and then our teaching staff. There is also a fully staffed medical center on site. The 5th grade staff has selected a few fundraisers to help families with the cost of camp, including Little Caesars Pizza Kits and the Detroit Salsa Company. In addition, we have had many staff and community members willing to sponsor any students who need financial assistance. Our goal is that any student that wants to participate, regardless of need, will be on the bus to camp on May 6th. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
Other than just saying thank you for taking our kids to camp and also to Camp Mishindo. It's an awesome program.
Okay, number 3, we have an overnight conference request for Michigan Association of State and Federal Funds, federal programs, excuse me, and that is Stacy Vespremi. She's on Zoom.
Sorry, I wasn't prepared to speak, but it's a overnight conference to stay up to date on all of our state and federal programs, making sure that we're in compliance and that we're in regulation with all of the things that the state and federal guidelines put in place for us.
Okay, is it that's it, Stacy?
And if I could
Yes.
add,
Oh, okay, Jason.
Go ahead.
Stacy's also on the MASFPF board, so she's there as a board member, but also representing the district. So it's, as a person that's gone to this conference multiple times, it's very worthwhile, and it's going to definitely help us as we're making a lot of the transitions and doing some things with our state.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Gribble.
Are there any questions?
Other than learn a lot and bring a lot of good things back to the Taylor School District. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, number 4, it's the overnight out-of-state conference request, Link Crew Basic Training. And because of a last-minute change, Mr. White,
Yep.
our superintendent's going to talk.
Yeah, you got it. So it is my pleasure to recommend that we approve 2 of our staff members from Taylor High to go to the Link Crew Basic Training. We have had Link Crew in the Taylor School District now at our high schools for about roughly 20 years. The program is intended as a way of helping build that transition for students from 8th grade to 9th grade, because research shows that the more that you are building those transitions and the more you are helping those incoming 9th graders, the more they're going to see success throughout their high school career. So the Link Crew program is one where we have 11th grade and 12th grade students. Essentially, they become mentors for the incoming freshmen. They have a orientation for them during the summer where they run different kind of sessions. They do different team building. They do lots of exercises with the incoming 9th graders. And then throughout the year, the role of the mentors is to continue to check up on them and make sure that they are having success throughout their high school career. So it is, to me, a valuable program, and us keeping up to date on the training for our advisors is essential to making this a successful program.
Were you ever an advisor to this program?
I was not. When I was at Kennedy, we had Miss Osborne, who was a fantastic advisor for the program. And then when I was at Truman, it was Miss Mack, who also, they both did a great job with those programs. And I always enjoyed as a teacher being able to make the recommendations for the mentors and giving it to those kids who maybe they weren't always the traditional like all A student, but they had leadership skills and they could teach the other kids like the ways to, hey, this is the best way to go forward and improve your stuff. So
Okay.
but I
All
love that
leaders are
process.
not valedictorians.
Correct.
I can speak, my son is a link crew leader and he does a good job. And some of the freshmen are friends of my youngest son and they do look for him, like for like help and guidance throughout the year so far. So it does work and they do utilize those students. So it is a good thing to have. Our kids were leaders as well. I like it.
Real quick, the funding source for this and the last conference, that's Title II, correct?
I believe so, but haven't been thrown on the spot for presenting. I don't know that I have that 100% now. So
It's not here. Okay, number 5, we have an overnight conference request, Michigan Reading Association, MRA. And our person is in house tonight, Michelle Hutchinson. I murdered
Thank you.
names, sorry.
And it was pajama day at school today, so everybody back here is just jealous. They wish they were a Packers fan from the beginning. So the MRA is a wonderful conference. It's the 68th annual conference. It's taking place in March in Lansing. We did put it in our school budget this year to send 3 teachers. 2 of them are classroom teachers and 1 is our coach. And this, the conference really promotes best practices in literacy. They have several, there are keynote speakers, and they have several then small group sessions that the staff can pick to see what best suits their needs. Because we all know, like if you're a kindergarten teacher, your needs might be different than a 5th grade teacher. So they will go and get all this wonderful information, and sometimes you fangirl because there are, you know, amazing authors that come and speak. And I remember going myself many times, and you're amazed and enthralled at the amazing quality of speakers that they bring. There's a variety of sessions to pick from, and we're really looking forward to sending our teachers. I definitely believe it's something worthwhile. And this is my 6th year in Taylor, and I've never asked for any of our staff to go to an overnight conference. Our teachers are giving up a Saturday and a Sunday of their own time to go because they think that this is so important to attend. So I'm presenting on behalf, and most of them are new teachers, so they were a little scared to come up and ask. And I'm like, I got you, I'll go and present for you. So it's a really great opportunity, and I would appreciate it if you could allow them to go.
Thank you very much, Michelle.
Real quick, can we recognize Stacy? I think she might have to answer about the funding source. That's all.
no, and it's funny. I just got a text while we're sitting here. Title II, yes, that was what it came across to me. So yes. I
Okay.
have.
Yeah. Okay,
Is
so
that
I'm unmuted. So the MAS FPS conference is Title II. The Link Crew conference is Title I. So the Taylor High is funding that out of their Title I building budget. The conference that Miss Hotchinson just presented on is out of our Title I RIDE grant. So all of these are coming out of grant funds.
Thank you very much. Number 6, collaborative group, and that'll come from Gary Kent.
Good evening. Gary Kenneth, Plant Moran, Real Point, here to present the award recommendation for architectural and engineering services for the 2021 bond program. This update is a mutual effort based on the Taylor School District Board of Education, Administration, the district's legal counsel, and Plant Moran, Real Point to make up the bond team. The bond team has had several discussions with the collaborative group to review potential services based on timing, staffing, and fees and terms for the work that we're doing throughout the district for the elementary schools. One of the main things that we're looking at for this firm is, you know, outside of just the experience of the firm is the schedule that they're proposing to accomplish the work. We understand that's a high priority to get this work done so that students can, you know, return to the buildings this fall and have them be occupied. The collaborative group proposed a fee of 7.5% of the cost of work, which will be converted to a fixed fee at a later date once we get through the drawings and have a better understanding of what the cost of that work will be. We think it's a fair rate based on the current cost of the work that they're being engaged for and proposals we're seeing elsewhere, along with the schedule that they're proposing for the work. One thing we did note is that future work, if they were to be engaged for additional scope, that fee would come down. The fee is a little bit higher for this one, just based off the schedule to accomplish it. But they're looking at anywhere from 5.5% to 6.25% for new work and 7 to 7.5% for renovation work for all future engagements. The 7.5% based on the estimated amount right now of 4.5 million is $337,500. Again, this will become a fixed fee once we understand if it's actually 4.5 million or if it is 3 million. We'll adjust that fee based on whatever the bids come in at and the construction drawings are estimated at. Attached, we've included the proposal from the collaborative group. We'll enter into a formal AIA B132 document, which is 70 pages, a lot longer than the 3-page document you see in front of you, which will outline scope, requirements for their contract, and what we expect throughout the engagement. Any questions?
I don't have a question, I guess a comment, but if that's,
Yeah.
okay. I just gotta say, we have started to work with the collaborative group. We've begun the renovation projects at each of the buildings or the elementary buildings. And right now we've initiated, I wanna say 6 committees out of the 7 that will be formed at all the elementaries. And they've been in attendance and they have done amazing work. They've been very responsive. They've taken staff input. They've produced, already schematic designs of the buildings in weeks' time. I mean, when they truly get the feedback, they're putting right in and then sending it back to us. They're very responsive. And it's also, I just want to give them a shout out about them committing to the district, because I know that we have a very tight turnaround time, and them committing to making sure that all interior renovations are completed by the start of the fall school this next school year, specifically at Holland, McDowell, and Myers. So just all around, they've been really actually awesome to work with.
Yeah, I would second that.
Yeah.
A heartbeat.
Are there any other questions from the board? Kyle is the point person for the utilization study. Okay, we'll
Thank
go
you.
on to, thank you, Gary. Go on to number 7, contract renewal, administrative assistant for human resources, Pat Delatorre.
Okay, in the packet today is a contract renewal for the, you could call it the third person in HR. And the board had previously approved a temporary position for this person for 3 months. And 3 months is ending, or has ended. So I'm requesting that that the board approve the extension to June 30th for Ms. Rosowski, so that we continue to operate in an efficient manner. And it's been very beneficial to the district, or to the department, because she has a wealth of knowledge when it comes to HR, because she had retired from here. So she can kind of work on both sides, meaning certified and non-certified. And with the move, we would not have been able to do the move without the extra hands. And we still are unpacked. So we need as many hands as we can get. So if the board, I would really appreciate if the board could approve this evening, because then we can still continue to move forward.
Are there any questions?
So you said the contract would be until June.
Isn't that what we?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Mike and I did, yes.
We don't have to.
Yeah.
So what is
Oh,
what is the pay going to be?
I don't have that off the top of my
Well,
head.
it would be an extension of what was
Yes.
currently in the, what was agreed upon for the
So we
getting us to
would
this point.
maintain the existing
Correct.
contract, just change
Essentially,
the
yes.
date till June 30th.
Correct. Just
Yeah, so
extending out the
that,
time.
that annual amount previously was prorated for those 3 months. So then it would be prorated for the remainder of the year. Yes.
Okay.
Till June of this year.
Yes,
Yeah,
correct.
okay, June 30th. this year.
Any other questions? Okay, moving on. Number 8, TPA Memorandum of Understanding, and that will be like,
So as we started working our way through the utilization plan, and I know Gary and Kyle spoke about in terms of what we need to do for building pieces. We also know there are pieces that we have to resolve in terms of how we are going to staff as we make these transitions. And I know I spoke at a previous board meeting that when we came back from break, after we had unveiled the proposition for what we were going to do to utilize our elementary schools, that the next steps we had to do was to finalize what we do with staffing. So the first piece here tonight is for the administrative piece for the Taylor Principals Association. And this was kind of a 2-part memorandum that we are proposing to enter into with TPA. First part is the board has expressed all along through this process the wish to not lay off staff members, but to find places where we can continue to operate. So with that in mind, we created a new position that would exist for next year only. And it would be a principal on special assignment. In the TPA contract, there is language that states that buildings that are elementary schools that have over 400 students in them are to receive extra additional supports. It's something that is not always been clearly defined, but we saw this as opportunity to define that a little better, and that we can have somebody who has that ability to go and work in those buildings that are going to be over 400 students and provide them those additional supports. We also recognize, obviously, our largest of our elementary schools is Randall Elementary School. So we are proposing that this new position would be housed at Randall Elementary, but they would rotate and they would work to support those other buildings. It also gives the district the ability to, if there are initiatives that we need to see at all elementary schools, it gives us that extra support piece to make sure that they can be working with each of the individual principals as they go along. The second piece of this was obviously with the closing of Eureka Heights, we did need a place for the Eureka Heights principal, Mrs. Hall, to go from there. And what this does establish in the MOU is essentially she will have the choice of either following contract language that currently exists for when you close a building in the TPA contract, or to take the newly created position. And once we have an agreement, then we would go and make that, well, we would offer that choice to Mrs. Hall at that.
are there any questions?
So basically, you're saying that this is gonna be a rotating principal that's gonna be housed at Randall Elementary, but she'll be supporting all buildings that have above an enrollment of 400 kids.
Yeah, but there may be times where we're supporting other buildings that may not be at that 400 threshold, depending on what the project may be. But definitely in terms of, we know that there are more needs at the larger elementary schools, and that's where we want the primary, the focus to be.
Was this supported by TPA?
Yes, their executive board, yes, they were in approval, and that's why we brought it forward tonight.
Is that it? No more questions, no more comments?
And then, so I know that this is probably gonna be another action item, but this is for next school year, and then
Correct.
when we're in the middle of next school year, then we'll address the following year.
I'm hoping earlier than middle. That's the way I like to be, but yeah, we absolutely are gonna have to relook at it then when we take Taylor Parks and Randall. And with the plan, in my mind, I keep looking at the size that the new Randall will be in Hoover Middle School. And I really see the potential that that would be an area where we want to consider co-principals in the future. And so yes, we're still having to negotiate all that, but that would be next year.
And then I see it says that if a vacancy becomes available due to like a retirement,
Yes,
then she would fill in that position?
correct. Okay, yes.
Anybody else? Are you done, Kyle? Okay. Number 9, we have a taxa memorandum of understanding. Salvatore, Mrs. Salvatore.
Okay, we're asking the board to approve the MOU to place Jack Gerard into the newly created position, which is a combination of the Director of Facilities and Operation and the Director of Transportation. And the purpose of that is due to the fact that the position has been posted, the Director of Transportation has been posted since, I want to say maybe the 3rd week of November-ish, somewhere in there. And we really have not found any qualified candidates to be able to do the job. There are candidates that potentially could be an assistant director, but to actually assume the role. And Jack was very gracious to step up to go and help out. And he even helped out the previous individual when needed on a regular basis. So with that, we were figuring, what are we gonna do if we can't find the candidate? So with Superintendent Wager's permission, I sat down with Taxa and we tried to brainstorm what could we do. So we came up with this newly created position, which would be the Director of Facilities and Operations and Transportation. And we could still continue to look for a Director of Transportation. However, we need to make sure that we have a director or somebody who can do those duties currently and stay there. So, Taxa represented leadership and we came up with the new title. And with that, we would continue to look for a Director of Transportation, and that at the time when we do find somebody, then he will revert back to his Director of Facilities and Operations. And I think I think what Jack brings to the table is that he understands the district, so he knows our little ins and outs and everything. And that is so valuable in this type of a position because, and also because he's been in facilities and a lot of our people cross over between maintenance and bus driving. He has the rapport. And I think that, I personally think that he has done a wonderful job in taking this over and still doing facilities. And so we're just asking you, the board, to approve this so that we can have continuity.
Kyle?
He's making the time. He's making the time.
And was this approved by Taxa?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Okay, are there any other comments or questions by board members?
So the pay increase will receive when a new director is hired, he will step back to his current.
That is correct, yes.
And I'll just say this, I know from talking with a lot of people from transportation, they said this is the first time transportation has ran smooth since the departure of Steve, our former director, transportation. The amount of bus runs that have been canceled have been cut dramatically. And I know a lot of people there in the transportation office truly appreciate Jack being there. I know it's early mornings for Jack and it's running late into the evening, but I just appreciate him stepping up and being willing to do this for us, especially in this time of not finding candidates. I really appreciate that.
It's been doing an outstanding job. Are there any other comments or questions? Okay, hearing none, we'll go to number 10, the virtual day plan, and that's Mr. Jason Purble.
Good evening and thank you. So what you have before you, and with the assistance, and as much as we'd like to provide leadership opportunities for our staff in the district, Ms. Marlene Scott is taking on the task of helping and working with the collaborative team to put this plan together. Background on this is the state of the Department of Education with the support of Governor Whitmer, knowing that over the last few years with how many snow days and those types of things, and coming out of COVID, knowing a lot of districts are already set up to be in a virtual state, This gives us an opportunity, once we exhaust our snow days, as you can see in the plan here as well, on state testing days. So we can bring the seniors in, bring the high school students in to take the SAT. And those, we can do virtual days for everybody else. And that way we don't have to have the bells going on. We can set up, we can do our testing days on that as well. But this allows us to identify 15 days throughout the school year to consider as virtual days. And then we're not getting dinged by the state of going over our snow days and then having to go into the middle of June and days like that. The plan is with this is after we extended our 6th or 7th and snow day, which obviously we're getting close. And knowing that we have the election day coming up, we have the testing days coming up, we can easily notify parents ahead of time that we are going to be doing a virtual day. We have worked with Mr. Ross, knowing that one of the issues it would be is with our elementary students. How are we going to provide technology and opportunities for our elementary students? We have an abundant amount of Chromebooks that we would train our elementary staff on how to check those out ahead of time, knowing that if we are planning on a day or knowing how our lovely Michigan weather is, we can plan ahead of time and check those out. And then when we know that the weather is going to be nice, it has been recently, but again, we will probably have at least one more snow day in March, because we always do, or an ice day. But this gives us the freedom and the flexibility to just go ahead and declare a virtual day where teachers would then go and put assignments on the Google Classrooms. Students would check in with the teachers in the morning based on the schedules of which is developed into the plan. We mark them for that day. It's into our auditing system, so we're not getting dinged and we don't have to go into the 2nd and 3rd week of June of making up snow days. Mrs. Scott, have I missed anything?
I think so.
Okay.
Just that, you'll notice like the times are equal for students K-12, but they're staggered throughout the day so that families with multiple students could share devices if they need to share devices, but that it's equitable for staff and students K-12.
Yeah, so when you do have multiple families or students in multiple buildings, they're not all trying to get on the computer at the same time. The elementary students can get on one time, the middle schools can get on a different time, and the high school. That way we're going through, we're marking, and then if they're not meeting during that time, say they slept in for whatever reason, or they're still driving to grandma's because grandma's got to babysit that day, as long as they're logging into Google Classroom and getting on a task or doing iReady or IXL or whatever they're working on, that counts. They've gone on and done an activity that day. So it counts for attendance purposes. We can go ahead and mark it. And that way we're not getting in a situation where we're not meeting our quota for the state for number of students on there. We call it a virtual day, it counts, and we're good.
So our elementary schools don't have a Chromebook assigned to them.
They currently do not have one where they take it home. Our
Every
middle
day.
schools and our high schools, correct,
Just
every
not
day.
the elementary school.
Just not the elementary schools, where the middle school and the high school are set up, and same thing with TVLA, because I know TVLA is still here, yep. So they've already got their devices, but if we know ahead of time that this is gonna
So
happen,
they would just have to set that up at the elementary school level.
yes. And Mr. Ross is already working on that plan and how we would do the distribution for the elementary schools to make sure that the students have what they need.
Now, I will say too, just to kind of add to that as well, when this went into place, when this change in state law came through, couple of the key points that are to unveil it is it does require board approval to proceed with the plan. And it does require that once we have the board approval, that we do have to communicate out exactly what we are doing to our families and to our community. So that would be the next steps after we get through the approval process.
And the one thing I want to add on this is a living document. So after our first year of going through, if it doesn't meet the needs and we're having issues here with this and that, we can bring it back, reevaluate the tool, bring it back for another board approval. And I know Mrs. Scott looked at multiple other districts in regards to what their board approval packet has. This is very similar to a lot of the other districts in our area are following. So it's not just something that's Taylor doing, it's a lot of schools in our area, a lot of neighboring schools in our state that are doing this same type of model. We have enough Chromebooks that every student in the elementary school can take out a Chromebook. Am I correct, Mr. Ross?
Can I?
A lot of our students don't have enough Wi-Fi for these students.
Go ahead, Ms. Scott.
Yeah, I just want to, so in the elementary plan, you'll notice does have a slight difference in it from the secondary plan to account for that. So there, we also created a Google form that embedded in it has a check-in feature and an assignment feature. And so that families could use a personal cell phone even, that like if they didn't have Wi-Fi or a device or something happened, because they're not taking them back and forth every single day, that there's a different accessibility for the elementary students than there is for the secondary students. There's two different methods for them to check in for attendance, one being the actual Google Meet and one being a Google form where they're reporting the work that they're working.
That was on our wish list during COVID, that we could keep doing this on days like this, so there would never be a snow day. So,
That was gonna be my one question is, will this only be used when we've exhausted all of our snow days? So this is a secondary. So we're
Correct.
not gonna like come out the first snowstorm and be like, we're going virtual day. We're still gonna give our staff.
mad.
I'm
gonna
gonna
still give our
say,
staff their
if
snow days, right?
anybody in
Because
this district
it's-
knows Mr. Wager well enough by now, he loves his snow days. And so therefore,
We'll give him one of
no,
those
I'm
snow
not
day
going to
videos
be
next.
trumping the snow days
Okay.
with, no, the agreements have all been about, we will exhaust what we have, what's allotted by the state before we go.
Okay, so
And
this is a backup plan if we do exhaust our snow days.
Correct.
And it does help us if we do have multiple building closures. We would just say those buildings are virtual, everybody else is still face to face. That way we're still counting those days as well. So we're meeting the quota that we need for the state for the pupil accounting.
And I guess on that note, how many days has the district exhausted?
So we are currently at 4 for the entire district. We have 2 buildings that are at 5. So we have 2 buildings that potentially they're 1 day away, as it stands right now, from us either having to make up a day or use this plan. That's part of why we wanted to get this going and make sure we had this as an option if we so chose to
The
go
state,
that way.
the state gives us a total of 6 days per building.
Correct.
So
And
if we
that
do-
has changed. Sometimes the state will, alter, but that's where we currently are right now.
If you go over, sometimes you can ask for forgiveness.
Yeah, there are waivers you can ask, but what happened last year particularly, and I think what a lot of districts were frustrated with, and this is why it came to the state level, was lots of districts went over their allotted days for a variety of reasons. It wasn't necessarily all weather related, but we did have that giant ice storm, and that took out some districts for an entire week right there, in addition to your usual snowstorms, those pieces. And what was seen is there was little forgiveness when those waivers were filed last year. And so the state thought, well, let's throw a different option on the table so that it's not worried about whether we're applying for forgiveness, but we're giving you the opportunity to have another path to not get into
And
that situation.
I anticipate now that the state has said you can do this option, they're even gonna be more strict on wavering days.
That would be my guess, yes.
They're gonna be like, no,
Yeah,
given
use
you-
this option.
We've given you a virtual option, use it.
Correct.
Or you have to make up the days of school. Correct.
because it's
Mr.
not,
Heath, you have a question?
it's not just weather days, it's.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
other,
Emergency.
Yes.
I would say too, so like where this came from, when we're saying like the state said this, is it was an addition to the pupil accounting manual that came
Right.
out in the fall for this year. So like next year, they could make adjustments to it, or, so as Jason said, I mean, obviously, we would adjust to whatever the pupil accounting manual says it's allowable to count students for attendance.
So if the school doesn't meet the attendance record on a certain day that we're virtual, then it inevitably will get tacked on at the end of the year, correct? Or we'll try to do another virtual day. How does that, like,
Cause like at our school buildings, we have to have a 80% attendance.
to get counted for the day,
75%,
correct?
yeah. Yeah, it would be the same, but this gives us a lot of unique ways to get that attendance, because you're gonna have the Zoom period that's there, so any kid who shows there can be counted. Let's say a kid doesn't show to the Zoom, but they actually go online and they get done with whatever assignment or coursework or iReady that they were assigned, then they can count too. So we actually have a variety of ways of meeting that attendance piece without them necessarily showing up to the Zoom meeting that we put in there. Essentially, the Zoom is there, I think, in my mind, to gather as much attendance as we can to give as many different opportunities.
But what's the time frame for the accountability? Like, got a virtual day to day? When do we have to let the state know that, yeah, we didn't meet it, or how does that go? Do we have a, excuse me, do we have a time frame, if you will, that, oh, hey, yeah, this Google page didn't load and that would have made us at our 75% and, or?
I don't know that I have that answer completely because this is all brand new, but I would imagine if we are worried about that number, that is something that, again, there would still be that opportunity to say, hey, we made this effort, we put this there, we came up just short of the number, you'd still have that possibility to go and explain it. So,
And I'll say, I mean,
but I'll follow up to make sure that's.
on that point too, I mean, if they're not showing up virtually, they're probably not going to show up in person. And so it's better to try the virtual route too, because the moment we don't meet, and which happened this year, I believe, at all but one of our buildings, correct?
Correct. We did have a day where we did have Taylor High and Randall were closed due to building issues. And then we did not make attendance in other buildings. It's a day that we're going to have to go and submit to the state and say, hey, we made every effort to be open that day. We did what we were supposed to do. And so.
Kenyon was
but
the
that's
only
it.
building that day that made attendance, correct?
Correct. Yes.
This is just approving for the rest of the school year.
Correct.
So we'd have to go back and do it.
So
again next
that
year,
would
or-
be based on, as Ms. Scott said, like they're gonna make adjustments to the pupil accounting manual. They do that every single year. So what adjustments they make to the pupil accounting manual would make, we have to change and adjust what we're doing here. I think that would come back to the board for approval again, and we'd go through this process.
Now, say, we wake up tomorrow and Randall is gonna be closed, how would you make that a virtual day for an elementary school at that point? Would they have to submit through that other type of form? Because they wouldn't have a opportunity to get a Chromebook for that
Yeah.
day?
Well, I think the parent education is the next step
Okay.
after it's approved, is making sure that all of the parents understand what the plan is, what they should do in the case, because obviously the day it happens is not the day to tell them what to do.
Right.
Right, so there's gonna be a period of time where the district and all of the schools have to educate,
Okay.
you know, the parents on what the exact procedures are, what do we do in this case, and so that everyone's ready, and that they understand that it's an alternative to adding these in June,
Okay.
and that hopefully that is also an incentive to parents and students.
And I'm gonna knock on wood that we never have to do it as well, but you know.
For sure.
Correct. In conversations with other districts and other curriculum directors in our area during our meetings, they've actually set dates when their district hits number 6, they're issuing the Chromebooks to the elementary schools just to prepare for that day, knowing that we're already at 4/5, knowing that the potential could be there. But we could say, when we hit number 6, when they come back that next day, hopefully, we're issuing Chromebooks to prepare us for that. Now, the topics that have been caught up that we brought up with the person of pupil accounting, a lot of time we have ice storms, we lose power. So it's obviously going to be difficult for them to be able to use their device, but if they're jumping on their parent's phone, logging in that way, it still counts because they're still making some type of communication for that purpose.
I know a couple of districts have this plan as well, and they have used this day for like that new voting day that just popped up. They've already prepared their parents, they're signing out Chromebooks. So it does work. They're not having a day off of school, but they're using it as a virtual day. So, I mean, that's also just an example.
Yep.
So,
This was an idea that was talked about quite a bit during COVID. So, I mean, it's just another way to not have to go to school until July.
Well, and the fortunate thing is after coming out of COVID, our teachers and a lot of our students already know how to use the Google Classroom format. we've lived it. Now it's just, unfortunately, we have to look at possibly going back to that for a couple of days.
And I think this is the next MOU that we're talking about, but
Yes.
I know we're talking a lot about classrooms and kids. What are we doing for the staff that aren't the instructional staff?
Well, that is the next topic on the discussion items. So obviously, when putting together this plan, we do have to think about all of our employees, all of our staff, and what their roles are. And we did need to look at, particularly with our support staff, what would be the equitable solution for them to still have that day of pay, just like the teachers would have that day, like, just to make sure that we were in that equitable place. So I did work with the leadership from 26M to put together a memorandum of understanding that in order for it to not be considered the act of God day in their contract, that this would become where they will be required to do GCN professional development modules. And it would be equivalent to about the same time that we are expecting that teaching staff is going to be in the class, or not in the class, but putting in the time for the work that is required for this plan. And we worked very closely with Tom and Lynn Clary and to try to find what was that most equitable piece to address that need. And that is what the memorandum of understanding is.
So then across the board, everybody's going to be doing something.
Correct.
So the GCM modules, who reports the completion?
Yeah, and we, in the MOU, we talked about that we're going to be working with the HR department and that we are going to make sure that we have a list that is stuff that is relevant and fitting to what those employees, what those support staff may need in what they do. And there is a wide variety of items that are in there that they can choose from.
How do you track if they've completed? Can you see that? from
Yeah, with
the back end?
GCN, we can check everything on the back end, much like we already use GCN in terms of like for bloodborne pathogen training and for some of the other modules that are required for all staff.
Yeah, and actually in GCN, so I just printed, and I didn't print it out, but Kathy Moses printed it out, just printed out mine, and you can go in a name and you can print them all out, and it has the date that they were done on. So if we did have 2 days when we were using this and say this day was said that module A, B, and C, the next one was D, E, F, we would be able to see that they did that. And because some of the people may not have devices at home themselves, it'd be very hard to do that on a cell phone. We're going to give them the 5-day period to get that done. And then if there is any adjustments for somebody who decides, I'm not going to do it, just document the day, then we will make those adjustments within a 2-week pay period.
We may as well keep going. Do you have anything else to add? The next is the 26M task.
Yeah, that's kind of what we just hopped into.
I
yes.
know, we did. So is there anything else to add to that?
I think we're good. Tom, did I miss anything, I think, on your end? I don't think so. I think we're there. Yep. Yep.
You're good, Tom? Well, there you are. Okay. I'm like, I don't have my glasses on. I forgot to take them out. So everybody's good with that? Are there any other
Yeah,
questions?
those all, both those items really all kind of
They kind of came
melted together.
together, but they are different actions.
Correct.
So everybody's happy with that? Okay. Go on to number 12, Mr. Dibble, that's courses.
New courses. So it is February. It is that time of the year where our counselors are diligently getting ready to prepare to sit down with our students and prepare to schedule for next year. Because again, as our goal is, let's make sure that we have their schedules in their hands before they leave for the end of the year. And that we're not spending the summer doing that. So knowing that it is crunch time at the moment, and obviously with the transitions that are going on here in central office and the changes, we, in a short time frame, had our secondary curriculum council meet. We had our district curriculum council meet over the last 2 days. And we have 2 proposals for you. One is for a class that's going to be at our career tech center, and another elective course that's going to be presented at, or going to be offered to our high school students. Both of those committees met and listened to the presentations, and we're both in favor of this. I do have Carly and Shayna here to go ahead and share with you the marketing, digital media and marketing year 2 course.
I'm not a public speaker, so I apologize. My name is Shayna Hale. I am a business tech teacher at the Career Center. Right now, I teach digital multimedia year 1, and we're asking for year 2. So the next slide talks about what we're going to go over in this presentation. I want to look at what we currently teach and what we're going to add on with year 2. I want you to see our computer lab if you haven't seen it before, the curriculum that I do teach, and the costs. So in year 1, this is a picture of our current lab. It is a brand new $70,000 state-of-the-art lab that we received a grant for last year. This year-long class is designed to engage students in hands-on projects, and it really is hands-on in real-world activities. This course is based on the development of a specific set of skills that would be required in the field of digital media, such as graphic design, digital communication, animation, web design, and the exploration of digital careers that may interest our students. Students will learn how to use Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator, along with some other interactive programs like web design and posters through Canva and other aspects. Most importantly, they will have fun while learning. And in my classroom, you can see the fun that they're having on their faces. On the next slide, you'll see some of the projects that our students have created this year with Canva and Photoshop. The About Me posters are up in the top left corner. And then we did use Adobe Photoshop with the fruit. That was our first Photoshop project. It was a black and white photo and they used color. In the middle, you'll see in the beginning of the school year, we created sketch pads so they could sketch what their projects would look like. We did just create magazines, and that is all created by a student. We also did the Warhol project. So they used a football player in their original, and then they got to do their own personal one after that. And we also did an ad, and then we just did posters for Black History Month. So in year 2, here are some of my students who would be taking year 2 if it is approved. As you can see, they are excited. We are excited to create this year-long class to continue engaging our students in hands-on projects and real-world experiences. This course is an extension of year 1 with emphasis on working within our community and school to complete work-based learning. Students will learn how to interview a client and find out their wants and needs, complete a project for a client, and work within a deadline. Students will use Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, and other programs to complete their assignments. Plans in the making are to create podcasts like Woodhaven has and post it on the school website, school news, because we don't have broadcasting right now. So our students could use the iPads that I'm going to talk about to create things that we could post about our school. Creating posters or websites for teachers. We currently do that in a small scale, and a lot of teachers are interested in that. And also creating ads for local businesses. So asking local businesses, we actually own a business, and doing small little projects, and they can see their work out in the community, and much more. I have lots of ideas. Again, these are more pictures of our lab. You can see the actual computers that are in this lab. The students walk in and are like, oh, these items were bought with our 2023 grant last year. We got a brand new computer lab. We also were able to get GoPro cameras, a poster printer, an awesome Canon camera that we haven't touched yet, sketch tablets that the students love. And we actually ordered more, well, we're going to order more with our new grant money, and laptops. I just wanted to give you an idea of what is coming as soon as our grant we're allowed to spend the money. So I did apply for a new grant this year and I was awarded it. So with that money, we are hoping to get iPads and Apple Pencils. So that's what my students said that they would really love. And so we're going to try that. And I'm hoping with the iPads, we can also use them to do videos and all that. Podcast equipment. I'm not a podcaster, but I know that's really cool right now. So that's on the plans. A laptop to run the podcast and additional Artist Pro drawing tablets, which the students have had fun with. So this is our current curriculum. This is through CTE. So we look at the legal, ethical, design, and safety. So Creative Commons, if you know of that. We look at digital communication, graphic design, technical support. We do a lot with web design, layout, development, admin, testing, and evaluation. We look at development tools, project management, customer service and planning, and of course, multimedia production. Now we know money, right? There are no costs. There are no additional costs. I got the grant money, so our lab is good. The only thing we do is we buy Adobe, but our year one students do get that. It's with our CTE budget money, so there are no additional costs. And then today, my students made a little video for you. So I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but they were really excited to do it. And I cried at the end. So if you can watch it, I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. It's right under 2 minutes.
Text up and Photoshop. I like creating designs and just be
class because it's a great learning environment. There's many different things that you can learn through digital multimedia, and it's a great place to be in general. They have great learning. They basically help you learn in different ways. If you struggle in learning a certain way, you can learn a different way. And I enjoy tech, so this is a great class for me.
Hello, I'm Emma Farmer, and my favorite part of this class, is that I get to be myself without judgment from other people. And I just like doing something that I'm good at and that I can get good grades in. And yeah.
I'm Gavin, and I'm in the digital multimedia class, and my favorite part about it has been the Photoshop stuff, but I'm waiting to get to the animating and illustration part of it. But I also like the teacher a lot, Miss Hale, because she is always there to help you, and she's really patient about certain things, and she's just, she's always kind about it. So yeah.
So those are some of my students who would be in year 2 if you choose to accept this. And I think the last slide is just a thank you, and if you have any questions.
How many students do you know how, coming in for potential year 1? Is it a growing class? So if we have year 2 for next year, the year after that, are you looking at having even more students?
Okay, so currently our year 1 digital multimedia class is full. There were more students who wanted to come in and we didn't have the computers for them. I do have, I believe, 14, 15 juniors. Okay. So those potentially would be our year 2 students. I don't believe I have any 10th graders. Okay. So it's 11th and 12th. And with digital multimedia, that is a class that technically 9th graders could take. They usually can't because of the classes they need. So does that answer your question?
Yeah. Okay. I just, because the picture only shows a few. So if this is a growing class, then that's obviously huge that we would want it to.
Yes.
And I will just advocate that those skills are so critical out there in the workplace. I use Adobe Photoshop every single day. I use Adobe Illustrator, everything Adobe right now. And then on top of that, learning like the Canva and just being able to do like digital ads for businesses. It's a career path that people can truly excel and exceed in and be very successful in.
Well, and it's fun watching them. Like we just did research. So they're doing the fun stuff and not realizing they're actually learning.
Yeah, or working really.
Yeah, yes.
You know, like the thing that I like, especially what we do with our CTE program, is promoting these students for a job, a career when they get out of high school. These kids could go work for Kinko's, go work for UPS stores. They can go work at Staples and help on top of just even those small firms that are doing those types of things, and even a pathway into a college or a tech school to continue to enhance these programs. So my biggest thing, as I shared with Mr. Wagner, is I want to provide our kids hope. And this provides our kids hope of having something beyond high school that's going to get them a career.
The amount of people that went for like communications or the design one, graphic design, the amount of people that did freelance work with the skills that they got from high school. I mean, that's a path of making money right there while they're going to school. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that you can take with this.
And we also offer certifications. So my year 1 students will be able to take a certification this year. My year 2, it would be a different certification. So if they pass that, they would have 2 certifications to put on their resume. And also we have the accreditations with colleges. So they could also get college credit at certain colleges.
Do you anticipate they're seeing additional staffing needs with the year 2 program?
Possibly just
Because the program is at.
it keeps growing. Yeah.
So, like the goal that I have to just keep growing. So my question should go, because I would love to, actually, like, the majority of my programs, we have 2 nursing teachers, we have 2 construction teachers, we now need to welding, we now need to program. I mean, they're gonna get it. 2 teachers are going to programs, and they love it, they want to invest in it. And right now, Shayna is actually doing some class. She's in cybersecurity 1, same time as cybersecurity 2. It's 2 classes, we're running back and forth, and she's doing a job. But I mean, yeah, I mean, the art kids love it. They love these classes, and we have 2 labs in the hall. And so yeah, another good part about it is that we can look at the conventions of staff that we already have. But eventually, I feel we might need more staff. Not just for digital multimedia, all they are.
For the immediate, so like if this starts in the next school year, would you see us needing to post for additional position, or do you see it starting off with just the staff we have now?
I'd say that's tough to say until you see the student interest. Yeah.
March, because the first week of March, they let the kids choose the elective classes they want. And really, our business department right now has 85 certified teachers in it. And we kind of build schedules around the student interest.
Yeah.
We have to see, I mean, we have space and rooms and equipment and people. So,
Okay.
yeah, we need it. Not sure.
Not yet.
Yeah.
No, you're good. Okay, thank you.
And I do want to share, like, I love in the presentation here that, you know, it's one thing that you're learning all these different programs and those pieces, but what I love is that in year 2, we're talking about how do you work with a client as well? How do you meet their needs? Like, that is an essential skill that if a student wanted to pursue this as a career, that's something that they're absolutely going to need. And I'd love to see that built into the proposal.
Yes, and that's why like all of our classes is where they get a lot of their work-based learning. There's so much curriculum, and the state credentials, you can't change. I mean, that's the biggest thing. The office of CT, the Michigan Department of Ed, we can't change that. So I mean, the kids have to that's those tasks and so that's too, and that's really what you can get in the community through school-based projects.
Are there any other questions?
So a great job getting awarded on the grant
Thank
and
you.
the presentation and all the things. So
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and shout out to John over here, he helped us a lot. Good job.
There is a second course.
Yes, there
right?
is another course. The other course that we're looking to adopt is an elective course in high school. And we have Mr. Sean Kelly, one of our high school staff members, here to do his presentation about academic games.
Good evening, everyone. I first want to apologize. I have no color or animation on my slides. But to give you a bit of background information, I know a lot of you may or may not be in or have knowledge about what academic games is. It was started with games created by Professor Layman Allen back in the 1960s, and leagues began to officially form during the 70s. So it's been around for a long time. I've been participating as a coach for roughly 10 years. I've served on the steering committee for the Michigan League. I'm currently a tournament director for the Michigan League. So this is something I'm kind of passionate about. I came to the district at the beginning of second semester last year, and I actually started with a small group of students around last March. And so we kind of have a small group of students who are interested. This year, we were able to actually take some to some competitions. We actually hosted a competition at the high school. And so the buzz is kind of starting to build. Where we have an issue is that we can only kind of meet during Griffin hour, and it's not a lot of time. And so I wanted to propose it to be a course. And if you look at the next slide, these are some of the schools in our area who already have active teams and who participate in the league. The next slide shows where, as a Michigan school, we feed into a national chapter, the Academic Games League of America. And so these are the states who participate in the league. So now looking at how this relates to curriculum. All grade levels play with the same set of procedural rules. However, each division level of competition introduces increasingly more difficult concepts for the players to use, as well as age and grade appropriate vocabulary. So in addition to teaching the rules of play, the instructor coach must also teach key academic skills to which the rules of play apply. I like to use the example of the game of Uno. No matter how old you are, Uno is just Uno, right? The rules of play are the same. So that's kind of what that is referencing. Now, as we start to look at some of the specific games, we'll see some of how it differentiates. So the first game is the game of equations, and it is just what you think it is. It's a math game. But academic game starts as early as third grade. So we see in that minor division, third and fourth, the concepts focus on number sense, and then addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And while they're playing these games, there are no calculators. So they are learning these skills and they're doing it mentally or with pencil and paper, and they're timed doing it in the competition. And so you first, again, teach those skills, and then you're taught how to apply them to the game. As they move on to elementary, we see concepts added: factorials, greatest common factor, least common multiples, averaging, fractions, negative numbers, decimals, and percents. We know they avoid things like fractions, decimals, and percent. So they're learning them and then learning how to use them as a strategy in a game. They move on to middle. They continue with the minor elementary skills, but then they add on working in bases other than the base 10 number system. They learn about fractional and negative powers and roots in middle school, and then variations. What variations are, if I can use my Uno example, some people stacks and do triples and doubles and all that extra stuff to make the game more interesting. So as they progress, variations are then added to increase the level of difficulty while they're playing. From there, going to the high school level, there are really three different levels. There is an intermediate division, which was designed for that high schooler who was interested but didn't play third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, or eighth grade. So they're new. They might be deficient in some skills, but they also just don't know how to play the game itself. And so it bridges the basic concepts with a few of the upper level variations to kind of get them acclimated and get them started. And then at that point, they can proceed to their actual level, junior or senior, junior being 9th and 10th, senior being 11th and 12th, which, as you can see, there are other concepts added: modular arithmetic, imaginary numbers, logarithms, and then other variations are added to increase the level of difficulty. So that's the game of equations. The next game is called Onsets, which is another mathematic game set on the principles of set theory. So players learn to create and describe sets of colored objects using the operations of union, intersection, set difference, set complement, the universal set, and the null set. And so again, this is played across all levels with all of those operations. So they're using those operations early and they're applying them to the game. And as they progress through school, they get more variations to increase the level of difficulty. The next game, moving on from our math games, because we know a lot of students, they hear math, they don't want to try it, but there's something for everybody. So Wolf and Proof is one of our more difficult non-mathematic games. So Wolf is used for well-formed formula. If you've ever taken a logic class or studied logical arguments, this game relates to that. And so the students learn how to use different variables to form an argument and prove it, writing out a proof using these variables in the game. And it also has two levels. So the regular game encompasses all of the rules, but if a child is not quite ready for that one, there is a basic version where they can kind of play that one. And the next game, Propaganda. So students learn to recognize techniques of persuasion that are often used by advertisers, politicians, editorial writers, and in everyday conversations, thus increasing their ability to discern truthfulness and validity. So the questions and clues for the games are categorized into 6 categories. So propaganda techniques of self-deception, of language, irrelevance, exploitation, form, and maneuver. And then within these 6 categories, there are other different techniques. And so with this, we call it a reading game. Someone is reading a clue or they're showing a picture. You have to try to identify what type of propaganda is being displayed in that. And in teaching this game, we also talk about how these techniques are also techniques of writing and how they can apply them to some of their academic writing in their English classes. Presidents. The next game is Presidents. Students learn about and develop an understanding of the personalities, historical context, political decisions, and other events of the presidents of the United States. This is where we dig into academic research. In this game, it is another reading game. So they have to actually do the research to make their own study material so that they can be prepared to play the game. And so we talk about the academic research component. What is a credible source? How can you look for it? Books versus journals, all of that. And within this game, there are subcategories that happen every year. So in addition to just researching the presidents, and what they did in their presidency. So for example, this year, the themes are vice presidents and presidential campaigns and elections. So that's a lot of additional information that they need to know outside of just information on the president themselves. The next game is theme. Theme changes every year. So students learn and apply academic research techniques to gather information on a particular historical theme. So this year you see the theme is the history of rock and roll. And the questions cover the subtopics of performers, early influences, the music industry, politics, cultural impact, and technological advancements. And these things, again, change every year. Past things have been, I remember one year there was Women Who Changed the World. One year was Greek and Roman mythology. And so the themes change year to year. Again, they do the research to create their study material so that they have something to study to use to play the game. Current events, a similar reading game. Again, they do the research. It's based on the last full calendar year. So this means the 23-24 year, the clues would be based on anything happening in the year 2023, not just in the US, but anything historical that might have happened in the year of 2023. The next game is Linguistic. Of course, a play on the word linguistics. This is an English game. So this game challenges players to improve grammar, vocabulary, spelling, and writing skills. And this one is also layered per level. So in the elementary division, you see the parts of speech: noun, pronoun, verb, adjective, adverb, preposition, conjunction, interjection. So they start to apply all of these in a game. Moving on to the middle level. And for the sake of time, I'm not going to read through all of that, but you see towards the end, we see indefinite, relative pronouns, infinitive, so on and so forth. And then into the junior and senior division, cases and tenses, complex clauses, so on and so forth. There is another English game that is only played at some of the lower levels. which is called, on the next slide, it's called On Words, which involves spelling, counting, grammar, phonetics, roots, inflection endings, prefixes and suffixes. So all of those different type of things that they're applying at some of the lower levels, that game then becomes a feeder into the game of linguistics. So the last part kind of talks about the participation in the league. So students who elect the course do not necessarily have to play on the team. They can just take the course and get the knowledge. But if they do choose to play, each school pays a $200 participation fee, which is waived if they host a tournament. And I typically choose to host a tournament like I did this year, so we didn't have to pay the $200 to participate this year. And then if the students do choose to go on and compete, there is a cost associated with attending the state competition, which would happen in March of each year. It's roughly $320 per attendee. That covers the lodging, the registration, and their meals. If they do well and are successful, they can get an invitation to nationals. That cost varies year to year because the national travels. I believe last year was in Orlando. So it travels year to year, and depending on where it is, there are costs associated with that. However, it is beneficial to us as a Michigan school. The Michigan League is tax deductible, 501c3. So we could also just ask for someone who wants a tax write-off to write a check for our kids and they can get that tax deduction. But again, a student who wants to take the class can't just take the class. If they then choose to play on the team and represent the school, they can do that as well. That concludes my presentation. If you have any questions.
How many kids are usually on a team?
So your monthly competition leading up to the state tournament, you play as a school team. So however many kids you take from your school, that school score is a team score. At the state level, you compete in teams of 5. So a school can take however many students make up a team of 5. And if you, let's say you only have 3, you can partner with another school and get 2 and do a combination team. It can be only in after-school activities. Most schools have it as a class because the after-school time is not enough. So they will have the class, and then those who wish to do a little bit more can come after school for additional practice. Ideally, you would need one. We typically will have 1 teacher per 20 students. But if we have a full class of 25, you just, as long as you have a teacher who knows the games, they can teach the class. In the initial proposal, I did mention that if more teachers are interested and want to come along as coaches, the league offers training free of charge. So they can learn how to play the games, they can learn the procedures and the rules. And once they feel comfortable enough, they can choose to maybe teach it as an elective. Right.
Yeah, this is only for the high school right now.
Ideally, yes. Well, we want to start with the high school.
Yeah.
The plan is that over time, we can do it across the district.
That's like future expansion.
Right, right.
And this would, you would be teaching the program?
Right.
Okay. And that would be like 1 hour of the day?
Correct.
Okay. Because how many students right now come to Griffin Hour for that?
On average, about 5.
5?
Okay. Right.
Do you have more students that are interested in it, or do you only have 5 students that are currently interested total?
Initially, we had about 12 or 13, but we lost them to other activities that they were already doing.
Because it's not like
Right.
a class, so like
Right.
you're thinking if you have like a class that they could actually take during the
Right.
day, you might have more interest.
Correct.
Does this cover a math credit for the kids?
This would be just a strictly elective course.
Okay.
But as you can see, is during the presentation Mr. Kelly did, we're hitting multiple different subject areas to expand and enhance the things that they're learning as well.
That was actually one of my questions too.
Is there a
was
way
like-
to have it cover one of the credits, or is that not recognized?
That's something that we continue to grow. If this continues to grow, we would look to see how that would look, because we have to make sure that it's meeting all the standards that we would need to fulfill that. Because it's, as Mr. Kelly shared, it's not just math. There's also the EL component, there's social studies components. So it's hitting a broad different areas within the curriculum. And as I look at it during the presentations, when I listened to it for 2 days, especially if we're offering this and doing these logical type situations, it's really going to enhance what we're really building out within our normal core classes in preparation for the PSAT and SAT, is building on these concepts. And especially, as, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Kelly, this is non-digital.
Correct.
None of these games are done in front of a computer. They're not done on your phone. These are board games that they're gonna be taking home and introducing to their families as well, and making Christmas a little bit more interesting.
Right.
So we have two ends of the spectrum tonight. We have the digital course.
Uh-huh.
Pencil and paper.
Can I ask, so when they go to these national competitions, state competitions, are scholarships available to students through this process of participating?
Any student who participates and applies as a senior can receive a book scholarship. Because there are so many, students involved, they typically do a book scholarship of about $250 And that's any student who is a senior who applies, they will get it.
Okay. How did you guys do? You said you hosted a tournament at the school. How did you guys do?
So the one that we hosted, we had one student show up who was actually in the video with the other player. And when he came, he had been playing, I think, a week and a half.
Okay.
He won every round he played
Okay.
against students who had been playing for a while.
A while.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are there any other questions, comments?
Thank you.
We will move on to,
Thank you.
Just to throw out there in terms of when you're thinking like the scheduling process for a high school to go through it. A lot of times when we're offering courses like this, we're getting them on the course book so that they can be options and we can see what that student interest and we can see what's there. So I know it sounds like right now, like, we have this amount of kids, but once it's in the course book, that allows time to sell the program and try to drum up that student interest and make it a feasible option too. So I just want to throw that out there. That's kind of how it worked in the scheduling process.
And from my understanding though, it's like still, even if it's a course offering, it still has to meet the requirement of students for it to operate as.
Yeah, essentially, yes, because it's going to need, when we determine and we look through master schedules and we're doing that building process, that is one of those tough decisions you have to make is did it meet the amount of student interest? But having it at least as an option allows us to go out there and drum up the support and see what we can do.
I'm sorry. I have one more question, Mr. Kelly. The $200 participation fee, that would be like an out-of-pocket cost per student that wanted to play on the team, correct? Not like a district? Okay, so it would just be like a school cost. So do you break that down? Okay, so if you host a tournament at the school, the whole fee gets waived? Okay. Just want to clear that up. Like otherwise you would break it up or would you want the district to cover that? But you would just plan on hosting one, so they would waive it anyways? Okay. All right.
And to answer that question, we would be able, knowing if this is something that we do have a class, we do have it offered, we could write this in as a Title IV plan for the exceptional students. So we would be able to use grant money to cover the fees for the clubs, or for the team.
Do a lot of schools connect their like gifted programs to this or not?
No, because they don't always target the higher.
makes a lot of sense. Okay, number 13. Every year we are asked to vote for members of the MASB Board of Directors, and we are District 8. There are 3 candidates. They did all send emails. I don't know if you read them or not. I sit on the CASPA board, so some of these people I have had the opportunity to meet. But the one that I'm going to recommend is the incumbent. She's from Lake Orion, which is Oakland County, but our district, our region covers Wayne, Oakland, and Nicole. She is the sitting person, and she has taken it upon herself to take classes. The President's Award is for board members when they take classes to improve their knowledge of being on a school board. So my recommendation is Brigette Equiston. Is there any other discussion? Would anybody like to discuss another? Brigette Equiston, we're Region 8.
It's on
We're in the
page
back.
17.
She's on page 17. The other two are on 16 and 8. Anybody have any questions? Comments?
I'm good with your recommendation.
You are? Anybody else?
I agree.
You agree? Anybody else from down that way? Okay. All righty. You are now going to action items.
All right, item number 7, action items. First up, we have the overnight field trip request, Howell Nature Center. Policy 2340 and policy 8640 is recommended the Board of Education approve the following overnight field trip request, Holland Elementary, Howell Nature Center, Howell, Michigan, April 10th through the 12th, 2024. Is there a motion? Motion by Mr. Thomas. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Mrs. Thomas. Ms. Block?
Yes.
Mr. Heath?
Yes.
Mr. Myers is absent. Mr. Thomas? Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Shufelt?
Yes.
Mr. Wright is a yes. That carries 6-0. Item number 2, overnight field trip request, Camp Machindo, policy 2340 and policy 8640. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the following overnight field trip request, Moody Elementary, Camp Machindo, Hillsdale, Michigan, May 6th through the 10th, 2024. Is there a motion? Motion. Motion by Mr. Heath. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Mr. Thomas.
Too quiet.
I think it was Mrs. Shufelt.
Mr. Heath?
Yes.
Mr. Myers is absent. Mr. Thomas? Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Shufelt?
Yes.
Mr. Wright is a yes. Ms. Block?
Yes.
That carries 6-0. Item number 3, overnight conference request, Michigan Association of State and Federal Programs, policy 6550. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the overnight conference request for Stacy Vespremi to attend the Michigan Association of State and Federal Programs, Lansing, Michigan, April 24th through the 25th, 2024. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Block. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Shufelt. Mr. Myers is absent. Mr. Thomas? Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Shufelt?
Yes.
Mr. Wright is a yes. Ms. Block?
Yes.
Mr. Heath?
Yes.
That carries 6-0. Item number 4, overnight / out-of-state conference request, Link Crew Training, policy 6550. Is recommended the Board of Education approve the overnight / out-of-state conference request for Shelby.
For Shelby.
For Shelby to attend Link Crew Training in Tosca, Illinois, March 10th through the 13th, 2024. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Shufelt. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Thomas. Mr. Thomas? Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Shufelt?
Yes.
Mr. Wright is a yes. Ms. Block?
Yes.
Mr. Heath?
Yes.
Mr. Myers is absent. That carries 6-0. Item number 5, overnight conference request, Michigan Reading Association, MRA, policy 6550. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the overnight conference request for Carrie Bussell, Kari Bussell, Kari Bussell, Jennifer Albertson, and Laura Davison to attend the Michigan Reading Association MRA Conference, Washington, Michigan, March 15th through the 17th, 2024. Is there a motion? Motion by Mr. Thomas. Is there support? Support by Mrs. Thomas. Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Shufelt?
Yes.
Mr. Wright is a yes. Ms. Block?
Yes.
Mr. Heath?
Yes.
Mr. Myers is absent. Mr. Thomas? That carries 6-0. Item number 6, collaborative group, policy 6320. It is recommended the Board of Education approve to enter into an AIA B132-2019 standard form of agreement between the Taylor School District and Architect as modified with the collaborative group pending final negotiations of terms by district legal counsel. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Heath. Is there support? Support by Mr. Thomas. Ms. Shufel.
Yes.
Mr. Wright is a yes. Ms. Block.
Yes.
Mr. Heath.
Yes.
Mr. Myers is absent. Mr. Thomas. Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
That carries 6-0. Item number 7, contract renewal, administrative assistant for human resources, policy 4120. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the contract renewal for Miss Patricia
Raskowski.
what Ms. Block said, for the position of Administrative Assistant of Human Resources effective February 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2024. Salary for the position will be $55,320.68 prorated. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Thomas. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Mrs. Thomas. It's because his mouth is right next to me, so I
He needs
hear
to
him.
speak up. So who, that one?
Mr. Thomas.
He's the motion.
And then you're the second.
Okay.
Mr. Wright is a yes, Ms. Block.
Yes.
Mr. Heath.
Yes.
Mr. Myers is absent. Mr. Thomas. Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
Ms. Shufel.
Yes.
That carries 6-0. Item number 8, Taylor Principals Association, TPA Memorandum of Understanding. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the MOU between the Taylor School District and the Taylor Principals Association, TPA, with regard to the creation of a principal on special assignment and the placement of the Eureka Heights administrator upon the closure of Eureka Heights Elementary School. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Thomas. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Mrs. Thomas. Ms. Block.
Yes.
Mr. Heath.
Yes.
Mr. Myers is absent. Mr. Thomas. Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
Ms. Shufel.
Yes.
Mr. Wright is a yes. That carries 6-0. Item number 9, Taylor Association of Central Staff Administrators, TAXA, Memorandum of Understanding. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the MOU between the Taylor School District and the Taylor Association of Central Staff Administrators, TACSA, TAXA, regarding the newly created position, Director of Facilities Operations and Transportation and Assistant Director of Transportation. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Shufel. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Mrs. Thomas. Mr. Heath.
Yes.
Mr. Myers is absent. Mr. Thomas. Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
Ms. Shufel.
Yes.
Mr. Wright is a yes. Ms. Block.
Yes.
That carries 6-0. Item number 10, virtual day plan. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the Taylor School District virtual learning plan. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Block. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Shufel. Mr. Myers is absent. Mr. Thomas. Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
Ms. Shufel.
Yes.
Mr. Wright is a yes. Ms. Block.
Yes.
Mr. Heath.
Yes.
That carries 6-0. Item number 11, 26M Taylor School Support Staff Association, TSSSA Memorandum of Understanding. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the MOU between Taylor School District and the 26M Taylor Schools Support Staff Association, TSSSA, regarding virtual learning days. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Heath. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
Mr. Thomas. Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
Ms. Shufel.
Yes.
Mr. Wright is a yes. Ms. Block.
Yes.
Mr. Heath.
Yes.
Mr. Myers is absent. That carries 6-0. Item number 12, new courses, policy 2220. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the following new courses: Digital Media and Marketing Year 2, Academic Games. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Shufel. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Mrs. Thomas. Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Shufel.
Yes.
Mr. Wright is a yes. Ms. Block.
Yes.
Mr. Heath.
Yes.
Mr. Myers is absent. Mr. Thomas. That carries 6-0. Item number 13, MASB Board of Directors Region 8 candidate. It is recommended the Board of Education hereby approve candidate Miss Bridget McQuiston for the MASB Board of Directors Region 8 candidate. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Block. Is there support? Support by Mr. Thomas. Ms. Shufel.
Yes.
Mr. Wright is a yes. Ms. Block.
Yes.
Mr. Heath.
Yes.
Mr. Myers is absent. Mr. Thomas. Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
That carries 6-0.
Okay, next thing on our agenda is superintendent's report. Mr. Wright.
Yeah, we've kept you busy tonight on this meeting, all those action items tonight. So
Not so easy.
I do want to just kind of talk about two things real quick in my superintendent's report. I know we had the student representative tonight from TVLA. I think the student representative, did an excellent job in talking about what that program truly is. And it is truly a place for our non-traditional learners to be able to find that avenue that they are going to be successful. They are going to be there. I have one representative on my student advisory from TVLA, and that one is definitely a fierce advocate for that program and what we need to do to be able to provide and make that truly that home for those non-traditional learners. And I think it's great things that those students are doing and great things that our staff are doing at TVLA. Second thing I wanted to say tonight, I know, I thank you, Mr. Wright, for putting in the moment of silence for Lauren today, because it was very, it hit a lot of people very hard in our community when we learned of his passing yesterday. And Lauren served this community diligently as our athletic director for over 15 years. I personally worked with him as a coach when I coached middle school track in the district. And when we needed things, he found a way. Even when he didn't have the budget, even when he didn't have the resources, he made it happen to be able to provide for us what we always needed as coaches. And it was greatly appreciated. But on that personal level, even the last few months that I was in the district in my previous capacity, him and I did share office space together at Taylor High School when we moved the athletic director in. And it was done so because I was the activities assistant principal, the athletics assistant principal. And so got to know him a little better in that time. And he was always somebody who had that positive look. He was always looking to bring other people up and make them feel better. And I think he did that in a great many people's lives. And I don't think people realize that as athletic director, you may not be the person who's directly impacting a student at all times, but the decisions he makes, the way he conducted business was for the betterment of all our student athletes, and he will truly be missed. I do look back and go, probably the last time I know that I had kind of had the opportunity to, interact with Lauren was when I was principal at John Glenn High School. And I went to go watch our girls bowling team in the state tournament. And lo and behold, the Final Four for that bowling tournament was Taylor High was in that Final Four, and John Glenn was in that Final Four. And so the two of us were there, both cheering and hoping that that would be what happened as the final to see who would be state champion. We didn't get our way that day, but it was really a great moment for me to spend that time with him and have that positive energy, and both of us cheering for each other in those capacities. And he will, like I said, truly be missed. So please keep him and his family in your thoughts, in your prayers going forward, because it truly is a tragic loss for us.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Mr. Wright.
Item number 9, consent agenda, policy 0166.1 and policy 6470. First, we have minutes from the January 24th, 2024 regular board meeting. Number 2, we have consolidated items, payment of current bills, certified, non-certified, administrative reports, and curriculum requests to hire. Can I have discussion? Can I open up discussion on that item? I know it's not part of discussion. On the personnel.
I think what you have to do is you have to take a motion in a second, and then there's discussion.
Okay. Is there a motion? Motion by Mr. Thomas. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Schufa.
Now you ask for discussion.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to ask real quick, when it came to the in-house, in-school suspension, that was the positions that we created that were funded through grant funds, correct?
Correct. Earlier when we were working on that MOU with
Yes.
TFT, yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And those are the full-time positions, correct?
Correct. And at the time, the MOU we entered into was, they're in the contract as ATA positions that are grant funded positions within the TFT contract, but we were noticing that at the rate of pay for those positions, we weren't able to get people to fill them. And that was where we entered into the MOU earlier. Yes.
Are they grant funded or are they general fund?
I want to say in their contract, it's always been in their categorical funding for the TFT, which is has typically been grant funded positions.
And then specifically for the new hires for the non-certified personnel report, are these positions where they looked at through to see if we needed the positions?
Yes, absolutely. At this point, what we are doing is when we have the request to hire, they are being brought to my office to me to be able to go through and say like, hey, right now we need to put the brakes on this and not refill this position, or it's one that we definitely know we're going to need, or because of the funding source, it's something that it's not going to affect other. Like, I'll particularly use the example of ROTC, because that is funded through our Career Center grants. Like that is something we can proceed and we can fill, whereas something else we're going to take that moment and press pause from time to time.
Okay. And then a lot of these retirements, so I see a lot of the retirements are all slated for the end of the school year. Are those part of the group that as they retire, we're looking at?
Correct. So essentially right now, one of the big steps we have to take right now is to start working on our scheduling processes in all our buildings so that we can analyze and go like, okay, these are the places that we're not going to replace because of attrition, or if it's in the case of some of these announced retirements, if they are special ed and they're getting the federal funding like that, we're going to proceed as fill the position.
Thank you.
Yep.
Going on to the vote, Mr. Wright is a yes, Ms. Block.
Yes.
Mr. Heath.
Yes.
Mr. Myers is absent, Mr. Thomas. Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
Ms. Shuffo.
Yes.
That carries 6-0.
Okay, items scheduled for next agenda, Wednesday, February 21st, 2024, will be good news, and our student representatives will come from McDowell Elementary. Our next item on the agenda is public comment. In accordance with the Open Meetings Act of 1976, the board provides opportunities for citizens' input during the public comment. Because agendas are full, each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. Thank you to all who are able to be here with us in person, both of you, and online tonight. We understand the importance of continuing to keep you all informed and provide an opportunity for you to be heard. Tonight's audience participation will be for all who wish to speak, whether it be in person or online. We will begin with those in person. If you would like to address the board, please step up to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. After all those in person have had the opportunity to speak, that opportunity will be given to those online. Please take into consideration common courtesy and keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. We will provide and assist with timekeeping so that each speaker will be able to monitor their own time and know when to conclude, so all who wish to speak will have an equal opportunity to do so. If there are any questions at this meeting or by some other avenue, Superintendent Michael Wager or his designee will work on getting those answers in a timely manner. We will start with those in person. No? Tom, you don't want to say anything at all?
Leon, nothing.
Leon? Okay. Now, is there anyone online? There is, okay.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, this is Caroline Pat, 6860 Jackson. Speaking on the virtual day plan, back in 2020 during COVID time, I was in charge of distributing all of the Chromebooks for all of the students in the schools, every school. And back then we also had hotspots for those families that did not have Wi-Fi's. Those were also something that I was in charge of distributing to the schools to get them to those families that needed it. Before I left, every library was set up with barcodes on the Chromebooks in their system. And the libraries were the ones who distributed them to the students if they had something that was wrong with them, if they needed a new cord, all those kinds of things. That was all set up that way. And so when I retired in 2021, the libraries took care of that, but I'm not involved in that part anymore, of course. But I didn't know that the students don't have the Chromebooks anymore, because they were talking about distributing them, to the students if they had some kind of a day like that in the elementary, where the high school already has those. So I was kind of, concerned or just wondering whether the students still use the Chromebooks, if they have to bring them into school, if they use them at home. And if the students didn't, had something wrong with them, then it always went through the library. So that was one thing. The other thing is I have a question. And maybe, Mike, I'm going to see you tomorrow. So maybe if you know the answer, you can give the answer to me tomorrow. Can a board president make a motion? I've never heard a president, and I'm not saying anything bad. I'm just saying I never heard a president make a motion for something. And I didn't know if that was something that you could do or you couldn't do, or I just don't know about it. The last thing I have to, pardon?
I shouldn't speak that.
Oh, and the last thing, if I don't cry, I also wanted to say I'm really sad about Lauren. Sorry, my emotions got to me when I found out, because I worked with him for the time that he became administrator or athletic director. And he also took money out of his own pocket to make scholarships for the foundation for our senior students. So I wanted to make sure that was said too. He was a wonderful man. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn. And according to Robert's Rules of Order, and legally, I can make a motion. Anyone else?
Thank you.
Okay, that's it. We're online and in person. So our next order of business is adjournment to closed session. Mr. Wright?
All right, item number 12, adjournment to closed session, policy 0137.2 pursuant to Michigan's Open Meetings Act, being Public Act 267 of 1976. And as amended, I move the board convene in closed session pursuant to 8H, material exempt from disclosure by state and federal statute. Is there a motion? Motion by Mr. Thomas. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
Ms. Block.
Yes.
Mr. Heath.
Yes.
Mr. Myers is absent. Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
Ms. Shufel.
Yes.
Mr. Wright is a yes. That carries 6-0. We will go into closed session at 8:03 p.m.
There, I didn't think we were. Okay, we're back from closed session at 9:08 p.m. There is no action after closed session. There are board member comments. Anybody have any comments?
Yeah, just thoughts and prayers out to Lauren and his family.
Yeah.
I know the viewings tomorrow and the funerals on Friday.
So sad when we lose people. On a happier sports note, today was National Women and Girls in Sports Day. Just so you know that. Anybody else have anything to say? Okie dokie, that's end of that. And adjournment. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Thomas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Myers is not here. Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mrs. Shufel?
Yes.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Ms. Block is a yes. Mr. Heath?
Yes.
It is 6 yeas, no nays. Motion is carried, and we are out in at 9:09 PM.